welcome to Halloweek. Yeah, I really wanted to do Vlogtober, and I'm so sorry. I wanted to do the whole month, but this month was a little bit busy, y'all, and I was really trying to find time to do what I need to do, but I couldn't film, and so I was like, you know what? I'm done kicking a week. I made sure I ain't had nothing to do this week that would distract me from my main purpose, which is you guys. And since I have the time, I got time, y'all. So we are going to do Scary Creepy Story Saturday to kick off Halloweek. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Tell me which one was creepy to you and which one was your favorite. And if you don't want to leave a comment, leave a like. Or tell your friend to tell a friend to come over. We would love to have them. Tell them to join the team, the real team, not the fake one. Okay? So let's get into story number 1. It is called The Bedroom Door. So this happened to my friend last year. She moved into her grandmother's old Victorian house while hers was under renovation. The first few nights were fine, but on the third night, she started hearing scratching noises outside her bedroom door. She thought it was just the old house settling, but then came the whispering. It wasn't words at first, just hissing noises. If I heard hissing noises, I would have been out. First of all, I would have been outside. I'm sorry, I couldn't stay in the house. If I hear something that seems off and all of a sudden that means it's time for me to go. No questions asked. Like someone breathing through a cracked door. She ignored it. I would not ignore it, y'all. Thinking she was imagining things until the scratching turned into knocking. And not normal knocks. Slow, deliberate. She finally peeked through the crack and nothing. But the air felt heavy, cold. The next night, she woke up to find the door wide open. Nothing had been there when she checked before bed. On the floor and what looked like dirt or dust were words. I'm still here. She packed her things and moved out the next morning. No one ever stayed in that guest room again. She swears she still hears the scratching whenever she drives past the old house. That is creepy. Sis stayed a little too long because as soon as I hear a noise and I'm sitting there laughing and I start hearing I'm out. I'm not coming back. I'm sorry. Granny, I love you. You can come visit. You can even come stay with me. But I'm not standing that. I'm sorry. I love you, Granny. But no, I have to go. Tell me how you guys thought about that story. Was it scary? Was it spooky? Did it grab your attention? Did it make you feel like, yeah. So, yeah. So the next story is called Reflections. I work late nights at a 24-hour cafe. Sometimes just me and the cleaning staff. One night around 2 a.m., I noticed my reflection in the large window didn't match me. I was staring at my laptop screen, but my reflection, it was staring at me, grinning. Let me continue because I low-key got scared for a second. At first, I thought maybe my eyes were playing tricks on me. I looked away, blinked, and looked back. The grin was still there. Slowly, it started moving differently from me, tilting its head, mimicking me, but not exactly. Then it whispered my name. I ran out and got home shaking, thinking it was just sleep deprivation. But when I went to brush my teeth, it was in my bathroom mirror, just behind me, smiling. I live alone. I haven't looked into a reflection surface alone at night since. Me neither, girl. I wouldn't look in a reflection either because y'all, I saw the movie Us when I was younger. I finally started looking into a mirror, my 11th grade year, and I saw that movie back in like 6th or 7th grade. Yeah, no, I don't play those type of games, sweetheart. I get down, okay? So I totally get it. That one was definitely bone chilling. It was really creepy because everybody knows that mirrors are definitely creepy objects, especially on a spiritual level. They can be very, very creepy. So, I don't play them type of games. Let me know how you guys think about that story. That story was definitely bone chilling. Um, the next one is called the Vanishing Hitchhiker. This actually happened to my cousin. He was driving home late, one rainy night. The road's empty when a girl in a soaked school uniform ran up, begging for a ride. She looked terrified, so he agreed. She gave him an address without speaking, just whispering. He drove in silence, trying to make small talk, but she didn't respond. When they got to the house, he turned around to talk to her, and she was gone. Just vanished from the seat like she'd never been there. He knocked on the door. An old lady answered, confused, until he explained. Her face went pale. You mean the little girl who drowned on that road 30 years ago? She said. The address matched exactly. My cousin still won't drive that route at night. I wouldn't either. I wouldn't either. That's the one thing that's always scared me. Driving late at night will always spook me out. It will always creep me out because you never know what happened on that road ever. So like it's definitely like a very spooky thing to drive late at night. Especially because you don't know. I always believe this in like heavy. Every road has a history and every road has a timeline. And what I mean by history and timeline, I mean you don't know what happened on that road or what happened years and years ago before that was a road. Or I am one of those people. Let me explain it like this. I am one of those people that believe heavy in places hold history. Good, bad, intentional, unintentional history. So the ground could be sacred, it couldn't be sacred, it could be a cursed ground, non-cursed, and you will never know. That's why when I um build or when I see people building, I see a lot of people praying because at the end of the day, like you never know what was there or what energy or what that place used to be. So sometimes it could be a good thing, it could be an evil thing. But that's why I pray over everything because you never know what happened in those rooms. So I think this is the last story, and then I'm gonna tell you my spooky story. Because I feel like nobody like believed me like ever. So this one is called The Neighbor's Secret. I had this quiet neighbor for years. Polite, friendly, never caused trouble. One night I woke up to flashing police lights outside. Curiously, I got the best of me. Curiosity got the best of me, and I watched from my window. The officers were taking evidence bags and digital cameras from his basement. Turns out he built a hidden room behind the walls full of cameras. The footage showed people from the neighborhood going about their daily lives, recorded without them knowing. Some recordings went back months. I remember waving to him through my window, thinking it was just neighborly, but he had been watching. I moved out soon after. That's right, girl. To this day, I can't shake the feeling that someone might be looking at me even when I'm alone. That is creepy. You never know about your neighbors. You never know who you're living across from. Those are also very scary. Being like neighbors are very, very scary. Because you never know their full intentions. You never know who they are. You don't know anything about them until you find out years later, hey, this is what's going on. And that's why I'm a firm believer in you never know what's going on in other people's houses. So that one wasn't really scary, but it was definitely like creepy. So now that I told those scary stories, tell me what you thought about those scary stories. Now I'm gonna tell you my scary encounter, and this one is a spiritual type of encounter. Um, so we're going to take this back to my sophomore year of when I was in college. Now, a lot went down my sophomore year. The manipulator story went down my sophomore year. Um, so this takes place when I first moved into my dorm. Every time I move into my dorm, my mom or I pray over my room door. Um, I believe that my room exactly in that dorm was haunted. And nobody would believe me. Even when I tell this story to this day, I felt like nobody believed me. And I used to cry and be like, why are y'all not believing me? Da, 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 da. Because it sounded insane. Because everything that it sounded like could have been a coincidence. But me personally, I knew it wasn't a coincidence. So I believe there was an energy or an entity in that room. And it wasn't a presence, if that makes sense. It was a sign. It was, I don't know what it was, but it was definitely something in that room with me. And I don't know if it was always there or if it was just some type of just energy that just tried to follow me. So let's take this back. When was the first encounter? So my encounters were never like, oh, I would see a shadow, I would see this, I would see that. It was more of the closet in that dorm room. So basically, when I first moved into there, everything was good, everything was fine. Even at nighttime, everything was fine, everything was cool. I noticed like the room was like very ancient. It wasn't really ancient, but you can really tell that the building that I stayed in, it was definitely like there for years. Like when I tell you it had like the old AC from like back in the 1950s, the air vents, the closet doors. It was a definitely creepy experience per se because it was also on the 5th floor. I stayed on the 5th floor. When I say that it was something, it was an energy. It was an energy because it wasn't it wasn't, I don't want to say it was an evil presence, but I can't confirm or deny. But it was definitely an energy, and it was probably an entity of an energy because I never physically seen the entity. I've always just had felt the energy of it. So let's go back to the first thing that has happened. So the first thing that happened in that room was I was brushing my teeth and the light started flickering. And I was like, oh, maybe it just needs a new light bulb and stuff like that. Um, in September of that year, I found out my dog died in that room. My mom called me and told me my dog died. That was the first incident that happened. And yes, that's a normal thing, which is completely normal in a sense. But then stuff started to get weirder. A week later, I got broken up with. And I cried. I cried so bad. My dog died. I literally just broke up. I just got out of a relationship. I broke up. At that moment, I didn't want anything to do with it. And I started to feel a heavy energy that was so negative I couldn't escape it. Going into my room, I was always creeped out because I always felt like something was in that room and I could never confirm or deny it. It was to the point I had to move my bed towards the window because I was terrified of looking at that closet because I always felt a dark energy in that closet. But every time I would go in the closet, it was nothing. It was just the energy of that closet. So more weirder things started happening. In October, this is when the manipulator starts doing what he does best. Let me stop calling that man a manipulator. That was when I was going through the whole manipulation story time thing. If you guys haven't seen that series, go ahead and watch that. it's not really to bash him, it's really just to bring awareness. And sometimes it's just an eye-opener. But like I said, there was no illness towards him. Like I said, I still pray that he does well and he prospers in his life, and I know God is going to do a wonderful things for him. And surprisingly, he may never know this, and if he ever sees this video, hi, um I stopped praying for him. But like I still continue to keep him in my prayers as well, because I am not an evil person, and I will always pray for anybody that I know, because I want to see everyone around me thrive, and I want to see everyone around me doing well. And that's why I still pray for him, even though we are not on speaking basis. So, well, we're probably never gonna speak to each other again. But like I said, during that weird timing, I was also going to Bible study. I was heavy in my Bible a lot. I was also in Bible study a lot. I started to feel so uncomfortable. My sophomore year was my most uncomfortable. It was my baddest, worst semester in my life, to the point where I was trying to figure out if I even wanted to come back or not, because I was terrified. I failed my midterm in that room. I remember crying. That was the same day I had to leave. And it was too much negative energy in one space, and I couldn't find a way to get rid of it. And I felt like if I told somebody about it, everyone's gonna think, oh, you're insane, you're just overthinking it, and this and that. But I'm telling y'all, like, it was bad. So moving into the next semester, me and the manipulator, we stopped talking. um he tells me this elaborate story of how he wants to change his life, and whole time it was behind a girl. Like, anytime a dude always tell me, I want to change my life and I want to do this and I da, 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 da. Bruh, just say it. I'm gonna be real with you. Like, I found this girl, like, I mean, you cool and all, but like, I low-key want to try with her. Cool, we not together. What you telling me for? What you explaining to me for? But thanks for letting me know. Like, that's all you have to say. But of course, he dragged it, trying to protect my feelings. I'd rather you hurt my feelings than protect them. I'm one of those type of girls. Um, so with that being said, January comes around. I feel completely alone. I'm out of it. I'm not even here anymore. I am completely tapped out. Nothing. Like, I went home depressed. I came back to school depressed as well. I was trying to be healing in a sense, but I just couldn't get it together. Weirder stuff started happening. I'm trying to think. So, something else terrible happened. I found out some bad news involving a family member of mine in that room. Um anything that could go wrong when you're already under academic stress happened to me, and it was never outside of that room. It was always inside of that room, which always made me question, was it always an energy in that room as well? Because I only received bad news when it was in that room. Never when I'm out in public, never when I was in a classroom. It was always when I was in that room. Either when I was leaving, coming, or staying in that room, I always received some type of bad news. So, moving deeper into the school semester, I got more and more depressed. I was mentally struggling. I stopped eating, I stopped drinking, I stopped doing, well, when I say drinking, I mean like on a regular basis, like water and stuff like that, not alcohol. I don't drink alcohol. Um, and stuff like that. Moving into not eating as much. I just wanted to be on my bed. I didn't want to move from that bed space. I was really going through it. One day I told someone about this and I prayed. And this was the most scariest experience in that room, because it just like came back to me. I remember closing my eyes, crisscrossed on the bed, And I prayed. I was talking to my grandma. My grandma told me to do this. And I prayed. And I felt like, you know, when your eyes are closed, but you can feel when someone's standing in front of you. I felt someone standing in front of me, looking down at me. That's what I felt as I was praying. And I was praying at the edge of the bed. The closet was here, and I was in front of the mirror. But I wasn't in front of the mirror exactly. The mirror was just there, and you could see like my bed, like me on the bed from the mirror. And I was praying, and I was like, God, I was just asking, God, I'm like, Jesus, please protect me, this and that. And I feel something standing in front of me as I'm praying, blocking the light in my face. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I was terrified to open my eyes because I didn't know what it was. To this day, my grandma's like, it might have just been God. Like, and I do believe that it could have been God because I didn't feel scared. I felt, I didn't feel like, oh my gosh, like, I know, like, it's something coming for me. And if anything, it didn't feel like anything. Like, I still felt comfortable to keep praying. I didn't feel uncomfortable. It didn't touch me. It just stood in front of me. And to this day, I still don't know what it was. After I prayed, I started casting out demons because I got scared. So I basically kept saying, if there's something in this room, you are not welcomed in this room. You have to leave. You cannot be here. And I kept saying it over, and I was saying prayer as if it was. And I was like, and I opened the door. I opened the door and I kept praying, and I'm saying, if there's something evil in here, you can't stay here. You have to go. Y'all, I kid you not. Mid casting, mid praying, the lights, the light in front of the closet door, because it's like this big light, and then the closet door, the light in front of the closet door starts flickering. It starts flickering, boom, it goes completely out. When I tell you I got scared, I wanted to leave that room. I called my mom. I said, Mom, there's something in here. I don't know what to do. I'm scared. The light went completely out. As I was praying, the light kept flickering. When I tell you it was flickering, like it was like making some type of like it could hear me praying. It wasn't doing this until I started praying and saying, if there's something in here, you are not welcome to stay here. The light kept flickering while I was praying. And then as soon as I was done praying, and I was like, get out, you're not welcome here. In the name of Jesus, you have to go. Da, da, da. The light goes completely out. I called my grandmother. I said, Grandma, you're not going to believe me. There's something in that room. And my grandma's like, you want me to come and get you? We gonna come and get you. I was like, I got one more week. I need to get out of here. I was terrified. Leading up to after that day, I was still in a depression state, but my life continued to get a little bit better after that. And I do believe energy is a heavy thing. And because I am a spiritual person, I do believe in God. I am a Christian, Methodist Christian. I believe spiritual things are real. The spiritual world is real. I believe that 100%. And my sophomore experience showed me exactly that. And that was the most scariest thing that's ever happened to me. And I've experienced a lot of things, but by the grace of God, I've never been in a situation where I've feared for my life, or I experienced something scarier than that. But that scared me so bad to the point where I was scared to sleep alone. During that time, I had a sinus infection. When I tell you I was fighting for my life that year, and it was always in that room, I was fighting for my life. So when I say pay attention, always pay attention. Never think, I was always one of those people thinking that it could never happen to me. And I got proven wrong. But yeah, there was definitely something in that room. It is probably no longer there because I probably casted it out. But that's why I feel like any room that you enter, you know you're staying in, please, as soon as you get in that room, pray over it. That was my mistake. I always prayed. I didn't pray this time. I didn't pray until later. Always pray over your space. But that was one weird encounter I've ever had in that room until this And to this day, I still think that that room had some type of heavy spirit in it. And I don't know what it was. I don't know if it was an encounter and an entity. I don't know what it was, but it was definitely something spooky about that room. And I won't reveal the place or anything to keep it confidential, because I still go to that school. So I'm not going to tell you what building it is, but it is so scary. It was so, 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 so scary. So with that being said, I'm going to end this video with saying peace, love. Halloweek has just begun, okay? Tune in for the next episode, which is tomorrow. I don't know what I'm doing tomorrow. We gonna figure it out. We gonna figure it out. But, yeah. Love you guys. Have a wonderful day, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.